This beautiful little home, now a law office, has a very interesting history that has to do with World War II and Fullerton. This story starts a number of years ago when then local history curator from our Lawner Local History Room at the Fullerton Public Library, Kathy Thomas, received a call from a patron who had found some mysterious garden plants hidden in the attic of her home. She brought them in to Kathy, who looked at them and determined that they were from this home and that they were from Dr. Quine, Fullerton's first chiropractor, who lived and practiced here in the middle of the 20th century. Dr. Quine got married to his wife, Aimee, in the summer of 1939, and they honeymooned in Europe. When war was all but inevitable, they decided to get back to the United States quickly before they had planned to, so they booked passage on the Athenia, the British ship which was the first civilian casualty of the Second World War. The Athenia was out to sea. It was in the Irish Sea when it was downed by a torpedo from a German U-boat. And in the initial blast, Dr. and Mrs. Quine were separated. Dr. Quine was on the deck and he actually saw the torpedo coming. After the explosion, he went down to their stateroom and he saw that Mrs. Quine had taken her life jacket, so he had high hopes that she had made it safely onto a lifeboat. All of the survivors were picked up by various rescue ships in the area, and there was a great deal of confusion in these early days of the war, and it took 2 months for all the dust to settle and to figure out what had happened to the survivors of the initial blast. Dr. Quine spent 2 agonizing months on the Isle of Man, desperate for any word about his wife, Annie. Finally, word came in that she had been on ill-fated lifeboat 15A, which had moored up alongside the rescue steamer, the New Nelson, a Norwegian freighter, and had been sucked into the propeller of the ship. The lifeboat and all of its occupants were just obliterated by the propeller and tossed into the cold sea. So that's our story about the Quine house. Dr. Quine returned to Fullerton, and those garden plans, they were the plans written in Mrs. Quine's own hand for the garden she would never get to see.